from Total, and I've come down on site to visit Profile Security. As you can hear, it's quite noisy, but we're going to go in now and meet the guys. Hey, it's Kerry from Total, and we're down at Profile Security today. We're seeing Andy, Colin and Kyle.
Hiya.
Hiya, are you getting on, guys?
Very well, thank
Really,
you.
really good, thank you.
So Kyle, I'm going to address this question to you, if that's alright.
Yeah, of course.
So what is the range of services that you guys can provide?
So people know Profile as a man garden business, and we are. And we're very proud to be a man garden business. We're £55 million turnover, predominantly man garden business, but we've got a vast array of products and services outside of that we deliver for our clients, such as temporary and fixed CCTV, rapidly deployment towers, so you'll see across construction sites, in wind farms, hard to reach areas where there's no power is where we deploy those type of products, straight through to alarm monitoring equipment into vacant and void property assets across the UK. And then we offer our clients additional service through the property solutions team, such as cleaning clearances, fly tipping removal, through to hazardous waste clearances, etc. And then back from an insurance compliance perspective, we offer void property inspections, so just giving our clients peace of mind that their assets are being kind of monitored and maintained and looked after on a regular basis.
Okay, and how long have Profile been around this industry?
Well, we were formed in 1980 and we've been in business continuously since then, so that's 41 years. We are now in the top 20
Wow.
by volume of security providers in the country, and we are in the top 5 privately owned security companies in the country by volume.
So are you guys national?
Yeah, we have a national footprint, but we're very, very proud of our local presence. So we have offices all over the country, from Scotland down to the south coast, and that allows us to adapt and respond in a local fashion, but we have a national reach, so we can actually take on anything in a national capacity.
What would you say is your USP?
Well, I think you're only as good as the staff that you put on site, and it's notable within our business the length of time that people have stayed with us and chosen to stay with us, and that's across working a number of sites in a number of positions, and that applies to both the security officers out on site and the middle and senior management team. So longevity, I suppose, to answer your question in one word, is one of our USPs, certainly.
And why do you think that is?
Profile is a family, and very often people who go away to work elsewhere come back, and they come back because of how well they're looked after, because it's so close knit, and they feel at home here. And obviously we benefit as a business from that experience that the people gain when they do go away and they do come back. And I think also clients really appreciate that when they start a project with one of our management team or any of our management teams and the officers, they like to see it through to the end. And as a result, I mean, many of our people have been with us 15, 20, 25 years, including security officers who don't wish to cheapy out, who want to stay with us, and that's a huge benefit to us as a business, and also a really great benefit to the clients.
Yeah, but we're also a real living wage employer as well. So I think it's about 65% of the workforce.
65% of the workforce is paid the real living wage.
But I mean, I know we're not saying that's enough, and we are absolutely striving to increase that percentage. But it makes a real difference, doesn't it?
We've recently signed up to the Living Wage Foundation, and we are committed to paying the real living wage wherever possible. And that's a unilateral thing that we've taken from within the business to ensure that our security officers, who are, at the end of the day, they're the guys that deliver the service on the front line, are getting justly rewarded for the work that they do, and they have done throughout the pandemic.
they're the faces to the company as well, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
And like you're saying, if people are staying with yourselves for that amount of time, they get to deal with familiar faces. So you're not just a brand or a company. There's real people behind this company, isn't there?
But it speaks massive volumes to our customers. You know, if they can see that these employees have been with us for a significant amount of time, or even like the senior management team, we've got members of the SLT that have started as security officers and worked their way right up into the senior management team.
We're very, very keen on promoting from within, and I think clients really appreciate that when they've seen a security officer that started with them become a director of the company. It's a very powerful thing, and loyalty goes both ways. The loyalty comes from not only the company itself, but also from the employees who know they've been looked after.
I think it's important when you're in the service industry as well. You know, we don't manufacture anything. Our real assets are the people we put out on the sites.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's really important as a business that you understand that and appreciate the fact that they're the face of your business and they're the real asset that you've got.
Do Profile always self-deliver the services?
So we predominantly self-deliver the majority of services that we provide. Everything from manned garden through to mobile patrols, you know, all self-delivered services. But we do sometimes use outside contractors for specialist services. So maybe for canine, or if we've got specialist hazardous waste that needs removing, we'll use, you know, the professionals. We'll bring them on board. But we manage everything. It's all still, from a customer perspective, it's still seen as being run and managed by Profile, which it absolutely is.
Yeah.
But we know when we need to bring in a specialist to cover the services, and we'd rather get that right for the client.
We always manage the service if we do use a specialist provider, which offers a one-stop shop to the client and gives them the continuity that's very, very important when you're delivering a range of services. As Kyle's touched on, you know, there's everything from fencing to mobile patrols to tech to access control. All of those elements have to be brought together, and provided the client has one point of contact and that continuity of cover is very important, and we can manage it for the client.
Definitely, but the core services are definitely all self-delivered. So from all the technology that we provide through to the manned services that we provide, they're all self-delivered.
Okay, and in regards to market sectors, which market sectors do you work in?
Well, we're in every market sector, but we are particularly strong in critical national infrastructure, ports and construction. An area that we are growing in is retail. Currently minimal man guarding in that sector. However, Kyle's department is doing extremely well. Yeah,
definitely. But from a retail perspective, we work with a lot of managing agents and facilities management companies across the UK, and a lot of their client base is within the retail sector. So a lot of, you know, considering the pandemic that we're in at the moment, there is a lot of empty property, especially within the retail sector. Starting to open back up again now, but we've heavily done a lot of work within the retail sector. So you know, just do inspection work, you know, draining them down, turning the electrics off, etc., monitoring. And that's all been, you know, heavily focused around retail, but, you know, and as Andy says, we operate across all sectors, and that goes across the whole business unit really.
One of the things that we are very proud of, and I think Profile itself punches very much above its weight in the marketplace, with £55 million turnover, so we're not the biggest company in the country, but we can certainly service anything that we decide that we want to bid for. So if we do go for a contract and we do think that we can deliver the services to a client, we will deliver it and deliver it well, both locally and nationally.
I think recently there's been a big change in a lot of clients out there. They're looking for a company that's big enough to cope, but actually small enough to care.
Yeah, Colin's just hit the nail on the head there. Big enough to manage anything that we take on, but small enough to have that really close client relationship and that really close officer relationship with the guys at the front line, because that's massively important. They need to have that close management presence to ensure that they are looked after, and we empower our managers to go out onto the front line and manage and be really close to the clients, because it's very easy. I mean, Kyle will tell you, if you're not close to the client and you're not seeing the client regularly, then there is no opportunity for us to offer different services to the client, because if we're not doing the one thing that they've employed us for, which might be man guarding, we're never going to get any other services from that client if we're not doing that really well.
So how many staff do you have around the UK?
Well, we currently employ around 2,000 throughout the UK through a network of branches from the north of Scotland, Aberdeen, Warrington, Leeds, down to Birmingham, London, and across to Southampton. So around 2,000 at current, yeah.
So you mentioned mobile patrols. What's your coverage like for mobile patrols?
So we've got one of the largest fleets in the UK presently, over 130 vehicles, and they support mobile patrols, locks and unlocks, and particularly with Cole's particular division, alarm responses. So
yeah, key holding and alarm response services. Yeah.
What sets you apart going forward, do you think?
I think, do you know what, Profile's quite unique within the marketplace, because it's very rare to have a security company that is able to self-deliver their manned solution, so the garden and the mobile divisions, as well as the technology solutions and property services. There's not many organisations out there that self-deliver and have their own businesses. So I'd say, you know, having that for our customers and having a one-stop shop, if you like, being able to do that for a client is quite unique. So that definitely sets us apart.
Yeah, and I think obviously moving to becoming a real living wage provider is going to ensure that we'll retain that talent, and that we can promote from within, because we'll have that longevity and continuity of employees. And I think as far as Profile are concerned, you know, we are genuinely real people that we want to deliver a great service to our clients, and it is about service delivery. The basic thing of what we do is we supply manpower to a client. If we fail at that basic level, we will fail at everything else. And we don't. We succeed at it, and we punch above our weight very much. You know, there's nothing that we won't take on. We have a very flat management structure, which allows us to make really quick, flexible decisions. If we believe that we can take something on, we'll have a go at it, and we will make it work. We've got some great talent within our business, and we want to retain that talent and ensure that those people are around for our clients going forward. To give that one-stop security supplier message that if it has a security slant to it, we can provide it, and we will do it.
What information do you use to assist staff and customers?
Right, I'll answer that. So we have our own system called Limit, which is Live Integrated Management Information Technology. That system allows us to take our reporting and our information from the officers on the ground via the management teams, and we can generally make bespoke to any client any report that they are interested in. I'm probably better off allowing Colin, who uses this on a day-to-day basis in his operations, how he both inputs and outputs the management information that we get with this.
Yeah, I think what was key there that Andy said was it's our system, so it's bespoke. We own the IP. It's not something that's been bought off the shelf. There are systems out there that you can do that with, but it enables us to be really flexible to meet the needs of the clients. So we've got a whole raft of different market sectors that we spoke about earlier on, with a whole lot of different needs and demands, and that enables us to tailor it exactly to that particular client. And the other big factor for us is it's real-time reporting. So when my team get a report come through, an incident, they're seeing it at the same time as the client's seeing it. And I think that's a mark of just how much confidence we've got in our teams out there to provide the service correctly, use the system correctly, and how much we can trust them to provide the service that we want them to.
Yeah, no, it's really important to all of our clients, but specifically on my side of the business, our clients really appreciate the real-time reporting. So whether that be reporting to an incident that's occurred on site, so it could be a construction site where we've been at breach, or we may have a vacant property that has, we've done an inspection on for insurance compliance. You know, the client can instantly get that back to them and can see quite clearly what we've come across. So it's not, we're not keeping anything back from anywhere. We you know, from anyone. You know, whatever we report within the technology, our clients get full visibility of it.
It's a very secure system. We do a lot of work for some very sensitive infrastructure sites, and we're able to use this system on those sites. And to be able to do that, you have to jump through quite a few hoops to be able to prove that the system is secure and safe and the information is protected. A particular concern to a lot of our clients.
Yeah. I think the very fact that we own it is very powerful, and we can bespoke it to whatever the client wants, which is fantastic for us because we have that flexibility.
And you can white label it, it's just, and our clients really love that because, you know, as we've alluded to, the customers, there's quite a wide range. And if you take maybe managing agents, for example, they work for their clients themselves are quite large as well. So, you know, they may want to have their own logos on it. So the reports come through in a bespoke manner with their information on it. So when their clients receive the profile report, you know, it's actually, you know, white labelled to our customer, which is quite good.
Has COVID impacted your business?
Well, one of the most important things about Profile is that we have a flat management structure which allows us to make decisions and operate with the speed of flexibility that many of our competitors can't. Earlier on in the beginning of the pandemic, we bought an awful lot of PPE, which meant that we could continue to operate, and whilst some of our staff did contract COVID, thankfully we didn't lose any. And that's despite being in an industry which has a very high risk attached to it. Where we had a massive amounts of PPE that we bought early, it enabled us to continue trading it, enabled us to continue servicing our clients, particularly in line with critical national infrastructure which had to keep going, particularly the ports, because goods had to keep coming in. And we're very proud of the role that we've had to play during the pandemic. All our security officers got key worker status, as they did across the country, helping the NHS, helping the infrastructure of the country, and help keep things going. And we're very proud of that. And Kyle, you had quite a lot to do with it in your division, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we became extremely busy during the initial pandemic, the start of it, where a lot of sites just closed, especially around construction. You know, there was a lot of sites just come to a complete standstill. So that our clients heavily relied on us then. So deployment of additional security officers, additional technology to make sure we can maintain the monitoring and security and integrity of those particular sites.
Colin, can I ask you a question, please? How do you resource contracts and what process do you use to respond to additional work requests?
Well, with the advent of 2P, the Transfer of Undertakings Protection of Employment legislation that came into force a number of years ago, the vast majority of contracts that we're awarded and that we win have staff transfer over to us. Now, we've got a lot of experience and a well-versed team in managing that process of mobilisation. And the key really with 2P is making sure that you communicate not just with the client but with the staff. In terms of greenfield sites, so sites that are new where there's no 2P, quite a lot of which we've taken on over the last couple of years, 18 months, we always try and recruit locally, and I think it's about 64% of our staff live within 9 miles of the site that they work on. Yeah. So again, to answer your question in short, the experience we've got within the team, the longevity of the managers that actually look after that process, and the success rate we've had has been phenomenal over the last 18 months.
I think from a resourcing perspective for us as well, and from the technology side of the business, is having a good stock level and being able to rapidly deploy, you know, our towers or our fixed and temporary systems to sites, because, you know, quite often we'll get the call at the last hour, you know, can you deploy to, or we've got an issue at, or, you know, this is kind of occurring, can you respond? So from a tech perspective, it's just always having a good stock level and being prepared to have the surge capability.
I think as well, harking back to the flat management structure and this family feel within Profile, everybody communicates really well. So whilst we have that local presence, which really benefits us, because obviously if you're recruiting officers within a very, very small sort of radius of the site that you're looking at resourcing, it benefits them because they haven't got massive commutes, so they have more money in the pocket at the end of the month. And also it means that we can respond very, very quickly locally to any issues that come up, and that's really what we're about in Profile, that flat management structure, the speed of communication, speed of decision making, and then if we do it a hiccup or we do it an obstacle, we can respond very, very quickly to it and fix it.
What about innovation? How do you deliver that?
Well, in this industry, innovation can be as simple as actually doing what you promise to do when you pitch for the business in the first place. And believe me, it's a rarity in this industry. And one of the things that we have got with Limit, or the benefit of it, is that we can prepare that management information so that when we take over a contract within the first 3 months, we can extract from that management information where the peaks and troughs are within any activity. We can look at any risks to the business, and that means that then the Colin's division can hand over seamlessly to the solutions division, who can come in and use a real risk-based approach to offer up the finest technology solutions that they can for the client. And that's really powerful in just doing what you say you're going to do when you initially take over the contract. Would you agree, Colin?
Well, I think one of the expectations that clients have, and Andy's right, innovation can be actually delivering the service they've asked you to deliver in the first place. But one of the expectations that the client has got is that as their chosen security provider, with the expertise and the experience, you'll actually look at ways of not just reducing their cost, but actually enhancing the security, doing things in a clever way, in a better way. Just because they've always done something that way for so many years doesn't mean it's the right way now. And I think that's where we join in with Kyle and his particular expertise at providing that perhaps different solution.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, in around construction in particular, innovation's key because, you know, as we're all aware, construction is continuously developing as the site grows and alters. We've got to move with those forever changing risks. So it's spending time on site with the client and understanding kind of what's coming up as their development changes. So, you know, we've got to be constantly on the ball and ready to come up with alternative solutions for that client.
And I think one of the most undersung parts of any security contract is that the people on the front line, the security officers that are working 24/7 delivering the service, are our eyes and ears. They are really, really important people when it comes to the chain of command and the links between operations and solutions, because they can very often, working and knowing the ins and outs of that contract and the intricacies of the contract, they can come to us with ideas and innovation, and we respond to that and we empower them to do it. And that's one of our biggest plus points, I think, is that we really listen to the people on the front line. Using Limit on the ground, the officers can in real time put the information they've got, anything that they've seen, any comments or suggestions or problems that they've identified, they can put that into Limit. We get that information back in real time, as do the solutions division, and Kyle can then, or his team can then respond to that very, very quickly, and often with really great innovation that will cure that problem.
What are the scale of your projects that you guys deliver?
Well, the scalability of the projects is, and I've alluded to it before, we punch above our weight in Profile. We can take anything on, whether it be big or small. You know, we can involve every single asset across the country to mobilise and deal with a national project, but also we can operate locally and individually within the divisions to scale down and operate very closely with the client, the smaller scale projects as well. Have you got any examples of that, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, if you think around some of the most recent projects we've done, you know, multi-million-pound projects, you know, through to, you know, temporary services. Our client will ring us to say, I've got an issue at this site, I need additional resource, can you deploy this evening, and that might just be for one night. So, I mean, from a scalability perspective, we can really adapt to most situations.
From a small contract, it can grow. So we've recently, in the last 14 months, started what was relatively a small contract that's probably trebled in size with new sites to come on in June. So, you know, it's about understanding what the client needs and having that flexibility to be able to move as the client grows.
And being able to understand the client as well. If we understand what the client's business is and what the client does and what they need, we can offer up services that not only improve the client's service delivery, but also inevitably will save the client some money.
So if there's anybody watching this that wants to get in touch with yourselves, which is the best way for them to contact you guys?
Well, either call the number that's on the website or call me direct via LinkedIn or contact me via LinkedIn.
Same.
And the same with Colin and Colin.
Thank you so much for taking the time out and seeing us today, all three of you. It's been an absolute pleasure. So this is bye from Total.